2016 was a very successful year for the Baltics. Finally, there is a rotation troops coming to the eastern border of NATO. But what are the concerns? What are the talks? How do you see, what the people in Latvia, what the policymakers, decision makers are thinking, maybe in Latvia and also in the other countries of the Baltics?
Well, publicly, none of the politicians here are willing to come out and express their concerns. But behind the scenes, I think everybody is worried, maybe even quite worried, about what Trump has said both during the campaign and now his inauguration speech, where he specifically said that America first. He will look at all issues only through the prism of whether he thinks it's to the benefit of America. And the only context in which he mentioned alliances was in the fight against ISIS. It is a cause for concern here. Of course, we are very heartened, and it's good to see that American troops are arriving in the region. We just saw 6,000 about American troops and armored personnel carriers being come over the ocean, disembark in Germany, move on to Poland. Some of them will be moving to the Baltic states as well. So that's good. They're on the ground here. While they're here, it's much more difficult to move them out. But as I said, Trump's rhetoric is a cause for concern here.
And the relations with Russia obviously is the issue always from the Baltics. So really, how this thing, it's probably there is a hype, at least in the Ukrainian discussion, and not just that. So what still would be the top, how do you see that? What is the public thoughts? And also, would you also add maybe there are some other priorities to the Baltics? What do they really expect from the Trump, besides, really prolonging the support to NATO?
Well, I think his consistent praise of Vladimir Putin has not gone unnoticed here, and that's a second reason for concern. I mean, not only his policy of putting America first, but the fact that he's quite clearly very friendly or wants to be friendly with the Russian regime and sees it primarily as an ally in the fight against ISIS, and doesn't see all the problems that it's causing in our region, its invasion of Ukraine, the continuing war that it supports there. The fact that he doesn't seem to see that as a problem is very much a problem for us, and it's a cause for concern as well. A second thing that we are, I think, becoming more and more aware of is, obviously, when Trump got elected, we heard from a lot of people, he's going to put in good advisors. There are people who know the world, who will tell him the right things to do. He's inexperienced. They'll teach him how to act. It's not clear that he will actually listen to those people. And so maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe he won't pay any attention, and they'll be able to carry on the previous policies. I think the appointment of Mattis as Secretary of Defense is a good sign. Everything that he said is something that we find very positive. The incoming Secretary of State, if he's approved, also said positive things about NATO, although I think that his stand on sanctions was a little concerning. He wasn't perhaps as strong on those as we would have wanted, and I'm sure as Ukraine would want. So these are issues of concern as well. In this context, what the Baltic states are really looking for is to strengthen our relationships with the Nordic countries, with Poland, to look for cooperation on this front, because as Edward Lucas, the economist journalist who I'm sure you know as well, has written, if you look at the military budgets of the Nordic states, the Baltic states, and Poland put together, they're half as large as the whole Russian defense budget, and the GDP of these countries is larger than Russia. So in fact, if we can cooperate, maybe there's some ground for support there, but it's a new area and there's a lot to do there, so it's not something that would happen quickly. So it's that's a long-term project at best.